Hey Cecilia,
Hi Karen, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad. I can't believe it's October already.
This year has just been going way too fast for me.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, but I think we have a pretty interesting month coming ahead and with some really, really diverse subjects at the Women in Data podcast. So it's time for us to go and do a little sneak peek and see
Yeah,
what's going to happen this month, yeah?
yeah, I'm excited. You're right, there is quite a lot going on with the podcast this month. So we have the usual episodes. We're having 2 episodes coming out this month, and we are going to talk about that in a moment. But before we get into talking about anything else, I just wanted to say that we're launching a competition this month. So the competition is going to run for a week, and it's going to be a LinkedIn competition that's going to be on the Women in Data LinkedIn page. So if you don't follow Women in Data, now is the time. Go follow Women in Data. Make sure you hit this the bell sign so that you get all the updates. And what the competition is going to be is, so I think it starts on the 5th of October and runs for a week. So from between the 5th and the 12th. And what you're going to have to do is basically comment on the post that Women in Data is going to post. And then I'm thinking, what is the word? And you will have a chance to win a 45-minute mentoring session with one of the industry leaders. So we're going to be tailoring the mentor to the mentee based on who is winning the competition. And I'm very excited about that. So 3 people will win a 45 minutes mentoring sessions with one of the great women in data we have around.
That's gonna be so exciting. I mean, I would. Can I compete? No, I can't.
No, you
But
can't compete, Cecilia.
I can't compete. Damn it! But I really like this, and also knowing who is going to be organizing and all the women in data members we have. There is some really inspiring women, so I think it's going to be a great prize. Well, tough luck. I'll get the next one. But also, I know that there's also been happening a lot of things between you and me. And truth be told, Karen has sent me a couple of messages before we got into this call, and there was a few pictures of South Africa that made me a little bit jealous. So go on, tell the world how wonderful that conference was. To be honest, it looked really amazing.
It was great. I mean, I couldn't help but escape the weather.
Oh, tell me about it. This is different attire to last month, isn't it?
It is. I was thinking I was a bit bummed that I was going to be missing Big Data London, but in the end, I had an amazing time. So, as you said, I flew to South Africa to the BIN Innovation Fest. And that was a great conference where topics were very varied. So, we spoke about data strategy, there was data governance, ML, obviously, because who doesn't want to talk about ML today? Yeah,
Right.
exactly. There was storytelling, and I basically did 2 presentations. So one on removing the barriers that hinder data analytics, which I'm very passionate about. I'm very pleased. I got some really good feedback on that, which I'm not going to brag too much about it, but I was like, yes, finally.
No, you should.
Yeah,
You
because
should.
usually you talk and then you don't really have all the feedback. But what they did is at the end of each session, they were asking the attendees to rate the sessions. So that was great. That means I know what works, what doesn't work, how to improve the content. I really loved it. And the other talk I did was on metrics governance. Ooh. Super important, but also very boring topic that no one cares about, but everybody should care about it, which is why I was talking about it. And that was well received as well. I think networking opportunities were incredible because it was it was not a small conference, but it wasn't a big one
Mm.
either. So there were maybe about 250 people. And what that meant was it was very easy to connect with everyone. And I think, especially in South Africa, I found that. So we were in Johannesburg, and I felt like people were very friendly and approachable. So I was
Mm-hmm.
just best friends with everyone there. I got some really good contacts, and yeah, I loved every moment of it. Did the safari, which
Oh,
are the photos where you
nice.
were a bit jealous of, but yeah.
That sounds lovely, and I love it. I mean, it's so nice when you get to those conferences where it's quite small and the end of the second day, everyone knows each other, go out for drinks, have dinner, and like organizing whatever you're gonna do next. I mean, I know that I've been to conferences in that on that kind of scale, and I have friends still today that are coming out from conferences. So
Yeah.
definitely a good shout.
Yeah, I think these type of conferences and meetups are definitely the best for
Mm.
networking. The As an introvert, the big ones give me anxiety. So already after these 2 days of 200 people, I was thinking, okay, I need to lie down now. I don't know how you did it at Big Data London.
Well, I have to say, the first thing when I got in was, wow, this, I knew it was going to be big, clues in the name, but that size was just huge. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, it was the first one I did last year. I couldn't attend because I wasn't in the country, and then before was pandemic. But I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I wish I had the opportunity to stay for 2 days, but I only got to go for one. But I saw some really interesting talks. I saw one about data sustainability and data hoarding, which I thought was really interesting. We also had a Women in Data podcast guest, Susan Walsh, was there. I
Yes.
watched her Dirty Data presentation, and she is so good. Her presentations are just brilliant. I also saw the Expedia data women doing a little talk about the diversity of paths to data. So obviously, I was very
Hmm.
interested. It's obviously going to have some appeal to me. And then just on top of that, just hanging out with people. I mean, the women data had their little stand and the little corner where you can go hang out, have a coffee. It was brilliant. It was just a lovely place, but big.
It did look very big.
Yeah, but now coming back to the podcast, because we do have two episodes coming out this month, which are absolutely brilliant. And the first one is with Salla Franzen. She's an investment manager at Navigare Ventures. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. I found it was really inspiring. And as you said, actually, I think during podcast, I want to work for her too. I really do. I mean, the way she's speaking and it's just very evolving and it just creates a very welcoming environment. And I just want to be part of it now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Salah has this interesting story where when she started working, she had so much support from her managers.
Hmm.
So I think she mentioned two people who were supporting her very early on in her career,
Yep.
elevating her, helping her understand the industry she was in. And that sounded so foreign to me and so foreign to so many stories I heard in for
Yeah.
people who work in data where you basically start working and you're left on your own unless obviously you're doing maybe a graduate scheme or something like that, which a
Hmm.
lot of us haven't done. So hearing her perspective on that and how that reflects in the teams she leads today was incredible.
Yeah. You gotta love that supportive environment and but at the same time pushing boundaries, giving back. I just thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. What else does Salah talk about on the in that episode?
So Sala was also talking about changing industries as a leader and how you don't need to necessarily be very specific or very knowledgeable of the industry. I mean, I know for myself, I'm working in higher education and I've never done that before. So I guess it's also about being able to adapt and by creating an environment that is very supportive, if you don't know, it's okay, you will learn. We all learn.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, you asked a question to about how to test someone who is curious in the field. So I really like that question. How do you know if someone is curious or not? Quite like that. So I thought maybe that would be a good one to put it to the audience. How do you test someone if they're curious or not?
I would love to have the answer to that question. I feel like this is true because when Sarah was talking, the curiosity theme kept coming back, and I was like, but how do you know if someone is actually curious? Because interviews don't last that long, right? So you can find out once
Hmm.
you know the person, but how do you find out in 1 hour? So she gave an answer I quite liked. For me, it's very much a
Hmm.
feeling. So I haven't fully found out how to test curiosity, but as you said, would love to hear what the audience, well, what the listeners have to say.
Yes, absolutely. Now, on a completely different subject, and as you said, who doesn't want to talk about machine learning engineering? So I know that for me, it can be sometimes a little bit daunting. I mean, it's a subject that I don't feel super comfortable in. So kudos to you for going for this conversation with Michelle and Sarah.
I
But they
mean,
were so didactic about it and explaining what's MLE and, so how was it?
the secret, Cecilia, is not to get too technical about it. Otherwise, I get
That
lost.
must be it.
I mean, we're going to have a few episodes. So you have ML coming this month, but then later
Mhm.
this year we're going to be talking about generative AI and its impacts on data strategies and things like that. But it's not a topic I'm super close to, but it is important to talk about. And what I wanted to do is I didn't want to do the same as well, it's not the same as many podcasts, but there are some really good podcasts out there that go really deep in the technicality of ML ops
Mhm.
and ML as well. So I just wanted to do something a bit different, have the overview, and then we talked about basically. So it was with Michelle Conway and Sarah Schlobohm, and we were talking about the life cycle of ML ops basically. So the differences between ML and ML ops, and something that made me giggle during the conversation is I think it was I can't remember which one said that, but one of them said, one of them said it's very easy to build models on your laptop and make them run, but then once you put them in productions, they just break down. So that's what we were talking about, really, how to build models that are sustainable to put in production. What's important, really understanding the difference between ML and ML engineering,
Mhm.
the importance of storytelling, good communications, but particularly the cross collaboration part where you can't do good ML by yourself as an ML engineer.
Mhm.
You have to collaborate with other teams and ensure that you're solving the problems that they're trying to solve. So that was quite cool. It was funny because these are all the problems we're having with data analytics and data science, and it's just a common theme across our field. So
Oh,
hearing them talking
it
about
is.
that was quite good.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I mean, listening to it, I heard some things that I've already heard before at work or, or some other people in the field. I mean, for me, there was one part, and again, I can't remember either who said that, but sometimes you have a solution for a problem, but you just don't know how to apply it. So it's the whole thing, for example, with AI. I have all this technology, I just need to apply it somewhere, and then you don't really have a problem to solve. You just want
Yeah,
to use the technology.
exactly. And something that was
Hmm.
really key is at some point, so towards the end of the episode, where they're talking about really understanding and asking yourself, do I really need ML to solve this problem, or is there another solution? Which I found to be quite powerful as a statement.
Yeah, no, definitely. I quite like that. And I think sometimes we just complicate ourselves just for the sake of using all of the technology and all the knowledge that we have, when actually it can make it so much simpler.
Yeah, I mean, we learned all these cool things, so we don't
We
want to
do,
waste
so we
it.
want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We want to play with it. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, at some point I remember talking with someone that was a while ago where she was saying. that to be able to overcome this fear of not using the skill, what you can do is build the solution that works for the business, but then in your own time. So when you have some learning and development time, you can then address the same problem with a more advanced solution. So that was quite cool as well. Yeah, so that's it for October, and I can't wait to hear the feedback, what everyone is thinking about the episodes, but also to launch the competition. So remember to follow Women in Data so you can then take part in the competition on the 5th of October. All right, see ya.